Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Catch Up. My name is Cannon Griner, along with my co-host Abe Elmore. We're two childhood friends who grew up together, chase sports dreams, and now live on the opposite sides of the country. We created this podcast as a way to catch up, unpack real life, and share the ride with you. From deep conversations to lessons we're still learning, laughs to life pivots, the kind of catch up everyone needs. Well, Abe and I created this podcast to not only catch up among the two of us, but to catch up with others. Today we have a very special guest on. This man was born and raised in Indiana. He was a Division I golfer for Purdue University, where he briefly met my parents. Upon graduation, he moved to Arizona for a few years. A few years later, my family, by sheer luck, moved in the same neighborhood. He has been a family friend for my whole life. This man was there when I caught my first fish. He was there when I did my first pull-up at 5 a.m. in his garage working out. And this dude loves to hunt. He loves to fish. He's an avid golfer and will strike up with conversation with just about anyone you know. Welcome to the Coast to Coast Catch Up, Joe Shildmyer.
Thank you, boys. Thank you for having me on. This is awesome. You guys are doing a phenomenal job with this. Great idea. And you're right, Cannon. I've known you from day one, and I think I was the first person to babysit you, which is nuts.
That is nuts. One thing about Joe is that he has always treated me the same. As you'll see in this podcast, he has a fun language and he talks in a very sharp sense of humor and stuff. And I think he talked to me when I was 6 months old. He talked the exact same way. So I remember being a little kid and, everybody talking a baby to me like, are you okay? Do you want some water? Something. Joe's like, come on, boy, let's go. Like we're gonna go fishing. And it kind of intimidated me as a small child, but now it's just shows how genuine he is and how he treats all people the same. So that was kind of a funny thing reflecting back on our times together. But Joe, I mentioned you born and raised in Indiana, and now you've lived the last 20, 30 years in Arizona. What was that? It was 30?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 30 years in Arizona. What determined that move? Why did you move from Indiana?
Absolutely good question. I grew up in Indiana, small town, went to Purdue, and that's where I started to learn life. Life isn't fair all the times, but also a choice of that is, and I try to tell all the young buddies I know, I've got a lot of young friends, it was like, why do you have to choose when you're 18 what you have to do the rest of your life? It's a terrible choice. Hey, my uncle was a civil engineer. They're like, hey, you're good in math. That's what you should do. Go to Purdue. And looking back on life, it's insane that I just thought that was normal. We had a PGA golfer from my hometown. I was like, oh, it's easy to make the PGA Tour, and I'm decent at golf. I'll go to Purdue. I walked on the team, which was another learning experience, which means you beat all those guys, but you don't get to play. I go to the coach. Hey, we just had a qualifier. I beat all these dudes. Why aren't I going to Iowa? Well, they're on scholarship. We have to use those guys. So I had engineering, golf, tough mix. So I did that for like a year and a half, ended up quitting, decided to stick with engineering, nightmare degree from Purdue. And during that time, I was like, once I'm done with this, I'm either going to Florida or I'm going to Arizona or somewhere. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm getting out of winter. I didn't like winter. Indiana was a phenomenal place to grow up, small town, great people. You guys did one on Midwest. White food, or what was it? It was genius. And that's exactly what it is. Phenomenal place to grow up, probably a phenomenal place still to have a family, but I wanted to get out of the weather. I didn't like wintertime. I like golfing. I like doing that stuff outside. So the initial thought was Florida. I had a distant cousin out here who at the time, you guys like this, was sending classifieds to me, cut out of newspapers. Before the internet, I mean, the email came about the last half of my college career, which is nuts. So set up some interviews. I won a golf tournament, won some money, which I shouldn't have collected, but I won a bunch of money, got flights, flew out the semester before I graduated, interviewed in Phoenix, first time out. And it was the summer that it hit like 122 degrees here in August, record highs. I was like, man, that's pretty hot. But set up some interviews, had like 6 interviews. One company was interested with me. and I did the whole ding letter thing to Hawaii and other places, but no luck there. They hired me on, which was nuts, at like nothing, 12, $13 an hour at the time. Purdue graduate, engineering, nothing these days. So up and moved out here by myself, didn't know anybody, and that's what got me out here. I'm super happy I was here. Good choice for coming out here early on.
That's crazy. I mean, I think it's crazy enough to go to school in Minnesota. Like, I got recruited, went there one time in the fall, the most beautiful time of the year. And I remember, you know, I was like, I made a decision based off that. And people thought I was crazy. I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Like, it's fine, whatever. But then hearing that, you know, traveling back in time, like, you've never been there before. You show up, it's hot as heck, and you're like, stick with it. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, you know, you only know so much about that area. Me, I could do all the research I wanted, and I could get it within an instant. You're more just, you get off the point and go, this is different.
To back up for me is my sister's 3 years older.
Okay.
She went to Purdue. Either you went to Purdue or IU in Indiana. So that was the thing. Do you remember what I told you when you were looking at colleges?
No.
This is, and if I want to back up a little bit, I've known Cannon his whole life. His family is extremely special to me. You I met because of your dad, if you wanted me to get into that. Leaving engineering, going to the golf course, which is unheard of in engineering. But so luckily Cannon's dad, Kirk, got me to talk to your dad.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the first time. And I came to work. Then I knew you from when you were young.
I think it's important to know. I didn't know. I remember the first time meeting you was at Cannon's kitchen table.
I was curious about.
And I was like, oh, this is Joe with the red Jeep. He's a good friend.
Yeah.
And then it led to what you're saying.
So I remember telling you, based on my experience at Purdue, I was like, hey, if you're looking at schools for golf, go to one that wants you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'll play. I went to one that didn't want me. I made the team, which I didn't even know Division I was a big deal until later in life. I was like, Purdue was terrible at the time. Terrible. So I was decent. But I still have like a screenshot of history. I made the team. I'm in the record books. So I got a little clout. But I remember telling you, I was like, go somewhere. I wish someone would have told me that. So now in life, I'm all about, and after 9 years of working with kids in the cart barn, I love trying to help. Hey, you probably don't want to listen to your parents. Both you guys need to listen to your parents. No one in the world wants you guys to do better than them. And you might be like, they're dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. Take it in, process it. That's your guys' job. And hopefully I could give some influence sometimes. So hopefully, and you did go to Winona, which was good. And you had a super awesome career, which is awesome.
You want to also explain the other aspect to our relationship, which is probably the most important part of our relationship?
I'm excited.
I fired my caddy a long time ago, probably like the beginning of high school, which was my dad, for the best of both of us in that sense. And I think quickly, Joe, you became working at Silverado, loved golf, and I think one day after talking to you downstairs, you're like, I'll caddy for you. And so then now I refer to Joe mostly as my caddy now.
How many times?
Well, we always did the Sparrow Amateur.
Yeah,
so that was, I think we did that 3 times, 3 days, and we did the one up in Ultimate a couple times. I corrected my driver that one.
Yep. You were like, quit talking to the rules guy, and I was like, I want to learn. What's the story on this? And you're like, enough.
You never did the AZM though with me though, right?
No.
Yeah, but so Joe is my caddy now. So I let Joe out to other people when they want to caddy. But it's important to note that. Yeah. It's important to know that Joe is my caddy. And if I ever came out of retirement, he's still my caddy. So that's kind of the unique relationship that Joe and I have. But man, it's cool to hear a lot of this stuff actually, but we probably even talked about because we're so deep into golf stuff. But when you moved out here, you're fresh out of college, didn't know a lot of people, didn't know the area very well. What did you pour your energy into other than work?
Ooh, that's a good point. When I first got out here, the firm I was hired on to was an old school engineer, and he wanted all the new engineers to go out in the field and survey so they could understand how plans work and how stuff gets built, which is genius, in my opinion. More people need to do that. Well, my background from Purdue was also surveying. So I was too good at it, and they wanted to keep me out there. So me not knowing anybody down here, I'm working with crazy NASCAR surveyor guys that it's not my game. So I still struggle to meet people, and it took a long time. It's like you go into Atlanta, you go in wherever across the world. It was a growing time for me. It was really tough, and eventually over time. So I did that, finally bought a house after a year or so, then started meeting buddies. But I just go to the golf course by myself. I would be off work at 2, hot here in the summer, go to Papago, get paired up, and just golf.
Yeah.
But it was a struggle. It was a struggle to come here unbeknownst to anybody. It was tough. And then it was nice when Cannon's folks moved here. In what year? Do you know, Cannon?
Probably 2000, the year I was born. Yeah, it was 2000.
It was a little bit before that, I believe, but it was around that time. Yeah. But they also visited Keely's grandparents a bunch.
Right. Yep.
And you're right. It's kind of an odd situation to back up with knowing your parents. I knew your dad in college, great dude, but I never hung out with him. I was doing my own thing, my fraternity. He was at his fraternity. But whenever we saw each other, we're like, yo, what's up? His hometown's 40 minutes from my hometown. We just did the general talking, not.
Yeah.
And then once he moved here, like a special bond, phenomenal person in my life, your dad.
I mean, think about how quick. I mean, you went from kind of just passing, cordial, nice, highs and what's going on. But I mean, from the time you met him and then, when Cannon was born, he became Cannon's godfather.
It's incredible. Well, probably because I'm the only guy they knew out here. I don't know. but and let me back this up because your dad, Kirk, wasn't like, hey, can you be the godfather? The godfather, yeah. I know I'm a godfather to another buddies of mine, kid. But your dad was just more like, hey, if some shit happens to me and Keely, can you make sure my kids are okay and just do the money thing? And I was like, absolutely, of course I would. Now, that might be a handful to get around, knowing your dad, how crazy he is or whatever. But I just looked at it as a financial thing. It wasn't like, so I was probably the worst godparent of all time to anybody because I thought it was just, hey, I'll take care of you guys if something happens to your parents. Absolutely, I would. And then once you turned 18, I was like, well, I'm kind of off the hook, but I'd help you out. I don't know where to find all the stuff he has, but definitely I'd be there for your family. Because me, I don't have any kids. Never had any kids. And not sure why. It was always me extremely frugal. I don't want to spend any money on kids. I got to save it. And I don't spend money. That's my problem. That's why I'm driving terrible cars that are in the shop all the time. It's a nightmare kind of thing. Spend some money. I got it. I just don't do it. So that's the bond between me and his dad and his grandpa too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just to set the record straight, I was talking to my dad this morning, kind of, prepping for the interview or conversation. And I asked him if what that was labeled, and is that Godfather or what was that? And he's like, no, not Godfather. We aren't religious. Don't go around saying that word. But he was the executor of the trust. So yeah, you were right. It was more of the financial. So you guys were on the same wavelength there.
And that makes perfect sense with what he said. So, well, thank you for telling me, because after the fact that you said at one time, you're like, why didn't you show up? You're the godfather. And I was like,
I'm done.
Holy shit. I feel bad now that I kind of didn't obligate a godfather's whatever, but I was always there for you guys. Always, whatever you do.
I don't even know what that means necessarily, but it sounds important. So
I didn't buy you guys shit on your birthdays. Is kind of what I felt bad about.
It's because you didn't like spending money.
But hey, he doesn't like getting gifts, so I'm okay.
That's true. I don't mind gifts. It's just I'd rather it be something we do, or something not necessarily tangible. But I kind of want to go back. You said, first off, you said you grew up in Indiana, great place to grow up. And I would agree with you. If you go back to Indiana and look around, it's a great place to grow up because it makes everywhere else so nice, so much better. Uh, a lot of corn. That's about it.
You're selling the point there.
There's family and corn, and that's about it. You also said a word, clout. Can you give me a definition of that one?
What I use it in? What was
You
the?
said being a Purdue golfer in the record books gives me some clout.
Well, kind of some respect that Division One, man, that's something unbeknownst at the time. So I got a little street cred. How about that?
Okay, street
Young
cred.
guys, street cred.
No, I think clout is a young guy's thing. That's all. That's what you get for working on the golf course for so long. But I kind of want to go back to the decision to move from engineering to, quitting that. You went to college for it. You said you weren't making great money, but I had to imagine it was better money than working as a golf course, cleaning carts and stuff like that. What compelled you to make that big lifestyle change?
This is a good one, especially for you guys being young. I did engineering because, hey, that's what your uncle did. You're good with math or whatever. I'm not very good with math, but I was good at it. But I wasn't the introvert engineer that sits in the cube. It drove me crazy. Early on, I worked on pretty good projects, and then you kind of get bumped up. And then now I'm running meetings. Now I'm doing meeting minutes. And at the time, there's kind of a mild recession around 2015, 16, where work was starting to dry up a little bit. And my company is a huge company. They bought another huge company, and they merged the two companies that were based in Phoenix together. Well, we don't have any work. The other firm didn't have any work. They put us together and moved us into their office, even further away to drive. I hated it. Hey, I don't have any work to do. I was the guy sitting in my cube watching YouTube concerts, and they're like, you can't be doing that. I'm like, well, I don't have nothing to work on. They're like, well, you just can't be watching that. Act like you're working. And I'm like, there's no work to work on, So I'm driving over an hour each way. Hey, can I come in early and leave early? No, you have to be here this time. Everything about it was driving me crazy. The movie Office Space was my life. It was driving me nuts. I got some new guy from the other company that's my boss. No work. They're laying off a bunch of my buddies. And I was like, I don't need this money at this time. I was like, hey, can I go part-time? And they're like, yeah, we can go part-time, just enough to have benefits. I was like, keep some of these other people around that have kids and houses and mortgages. I don't need this stuff. Trying to be fair. That's my biggest thing. That's probably what your dad would say about me too, is just like, let's keep it fair. And during that times when your dad talked to your dad and your dad asked, hey, no one knows anything about golf? And he's like, oh, I know a dude that knows about golf. So then since I was only working part-time, I went and met your dad, and I was like, hey, I could happily work, I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday engineering. I'll come help you whenever. So during that time, this is a good story, and I don't know how much merit it has, but so I went and met with his dad. He's like, yeah, come on board. And I go there, and I was like, man, this is pretty good money. Tip money's good in Scottsdale. This is pretty nice. No stress. Maybe a month or so later, they come out, engineering world, and they're like, hey, Joe, you're getting a 5% raise. My buddy's getting 5% raise, whatever they tell you this. And then my buddy, the worst for accounting is to work with engineers. And my buddy's like, yo, check your paycheck, man. Mine's not right. It didn't go up 5%. And I was like, oh, let me check on mine. And I was like, yeah, mine's like 3%. What's up with this? So I asked my new boss from the other company. I was like, hey, what's up with this? He told me it's 5% and it's only 3%. And he's like, oh, yeah. A corporate guy up in Utah screwed up in the spreadsheet. He gave some people more money and gave some people less money. And I was like, all right, well, when are you going to fix this? And he goes, we're not. And I said, hold up. So if I screw up on plans or something or give a product that's wrong, wouldn't we change it? And he's like, yeah. And I go, so all my future raises are going to be based on this problem of 3%. So it's going to compound over all these years. And he's like, oh, yeah, man, you're right. And I was like, well, you need to fix it. He goes, we're not fixing it. And I go, I quit. He's like, well, what firm are you going to? And I go, I'm going to work at a golf course. So it's all about that's wrong and what's right. I had enough. But I think they're also wanting to weed people out and get people to quit. Well, it worked for me. But luckily, I was on there. I was like, I'll do this for a little while. And to fast forward ahead a little bit. So I did it there for a while, having a good time, making decent money. had my house paid off, no car debt, no kids. And then happy doing that for a while. And it was almost a test of what can I get by with living per year so I can go into retirement and know, well, you got all these car payments, you got dog surgeries, you got all this stuff, new roof. You guys are going to learn about this. 12 grand for new roof, all that stuff sucks. But then recently, 3 months ago, a buddy that I kind of mentored got me back in engineering, which was good timing. I'll do it for a little bit. It's a pretty good job. It's no design or nothing. I'm just reviewing stuff. So I'm back in the mix. And all these guys that I went back to work with are like, dude, what did you do the last 10 years? And I was like, I didn't do nothing. I worked at a golf course with 20-year-olds and had fun.
You wouldn't believe it. I caddied on the PGA Tour. I caddied for some random guy. It was, basically Mr. Scottsdale.
My life has been unbelievable with meeting. Going back, I met a volunteer to caddy for a girl in a mini tour kind of thing who introduced me to her boyfriend at the time who's on the PGA Tour. She's introduced me to a college teammate who's on the LPGA Tour. And now I get calls from people saying, hey, I know someone when we come to Phoenix. Do you want to loop for a week? Yeah. So I've done it twice on the LPGA. I've done it twice on the PGA. I've done it on the Nationwide, PGA Latin America, US Amateur, Abe stuff. So it's what a life. It's phenomenal. But what the history of what I've done, instead of people that just grind through their career and that's all they've done is punch a clock, same career for 30 years. Mine's been insane.
I remember working with you. For the right reasons. I think my dad was like, don't let Joe and Abe work together. I think we worked probably a couple of years together, and I was always in and out between college and not. But the few times we worked together, there was I remember you telling me, oh, yeah, I keep my license up every couple of years just in case. And I was like, that's smart. But like, you're never going back. And then
I was the last person to think I was going back.
Yeah. And then I was right next to you. Second to last person thinking you were never going to go back. Went to Atlanta, came back, saw you right when I got back, like the next week at an event at Silverado. I remember you told me you got back into engineering, and my jaw was on the floor. Only 5 minutes. Someone had to pick it up for me.
Well, and the backup is, I always thought coming out of school and me doing engineering for, say, 20 years, I had buddies that were realtors. I had buddies that were doing other stuff. I'm grinding and stressing on these projects of like, man, we got to make it right. We're behind the 8 ball. We got to bust these plans out. And I was only making like 90 grand or something. It was not commiserate with the pay. And I got a realtor buddy that's making $1 million. And I was like, you're showing homes and just doing paperwork. I was like, I got to sit in traffic for 2 hours a day and I got to grind. And I got all these office space bosses coming asking me if I got my TPS reports done and this and that. And I was like, this is terrible. So then later on, I heard from my buddies and this is something that's different in life, that the only way to kind of get raises nowadays is to quit and go to another job. So I had a real good buddy of mine interview for my current job, and he used it just as ammunition to get more from his company. And then I went and interviewed, and all my other guys, it's like, why aren't you trying to get this job? And they're like, well, you have more experience. I'm like, I've been out 20 years or out 10 years. Nothing's changed as far as ADOT, but the pay is like double. It's insane, stupid money. So I'm like, let me take this free drug for a little bit and get the hookup and pay off all my stuff, do it for a few years, and then I got to figure out how to really retire at mid-50s or something. I don't know. We're still slaves to healthcare is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say when I was working out with you, and I don't know when that time frame was, but 7th to 8th grade, maybe earlier, maybe later than that for me. So that'd be probably 2010 to 2008, 16 is probably when we used to do those 4 or 5 a.m. garage workouts, P90X, all that good stuff. With my dad and you. I remember you always bitching about work and you guys going back and forth and like, dang, jobs sound terrible. Like I don't want to get into that. And then I remember the time where you cut off work and you're like, oh, it's the best. Like anybody, and the boss is like, anybody want to get off early? And you're like, I'll take it. I want out. Like, don't
It
pay me.
wasn't.
I just want to get out of here.
It wasn't the right fit, I think, looking back, for my personality. But the thing is like, I was good at it. I was good at.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that sees something crooked. I'm OCD with finding stuff, and that's what my current job is to find stuff. But to back up on the workout thing, your dad and I don't know how long it was, but he was religious about coming to my house in the morning. I had a TV in the garage, and we got on the P90 kicks. And I think we did it like 14 years. And it went from like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right, let's do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then maybe we'll walk or something on the weekend. But your dad was always good about coming to my house. And I remember maybe in all those 14 years, I'd crack, like in the wintertime, I'd crack the garage door and wait for him. He maybe only overslept 2 times. But I'd go out there sometimes, half hungover or something, and I'd just lay on the carpet. And then he'd show up, and I'd be like, oh, shit, he's here. All right, let's go. But we went from 3 days to 5 days. We did it forever. And he is a insane athlete. So the one podcast you guys did about rim to rim to rim or something, I laughed when Cannon was like, yo, my dad is insane, and it whipped him. And I was like, 100%, he's right. He is insane.
He's insane. He's a mountain goat. He's more than a mountain goat.
So work out with that bastard for 14 years. It's something.
I could
Yeah.
I'm in pretty good shape for my age. I'm in pretty good shape.
It was his warm up for sure. But anyways, just hearing you complain about that all the time, and then I finally heard you stuck it to the man and quit, and we're doing something that made you happy. And I honestly I idolized that, like just being in a position that you're like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to do something that makes me happy. I'm not going to make money, but I can find how to make enough out of my life. And I think, yes, there's people that make millions of dollars, but they also spend way more than that. And I think the idea of knowing when you have enough is almost more important than the ability to make, a bunch of money and spend a bunch. Like if you know that you have what can make you happy, that I think that's where everybody wants to be in life. Right. So I definitely respected that when you did that. And now you're just another guy in corporate America. So way to de-idolize yourself, Joe.
Well, and I know I've told you a few times, my quote was always, the key to wealth is making more money or wanting less.
Yeah, that's what I
have acquired all the toys and all the tools and all the things I've needed. But you're right, Cannon. I've looked back after that was a quick draw reflex. Screw you, I quit. This is bullshit. You're screwing me. No one screws me. Looking back, and even when I got back recently in engineering, I had a guy call me up that ran a golf league, and he's like, Joe, what's this I hear you're back? He goes, we got a spot open in a golf league, but you were the chosen one. You're the only one that's left. And now you're back, kind of the same heat you're giving me. But I get it, but it's shocking to really think that was a bold move for me to do. Just, I'm done, man. I'm done. Super lucky to have met your dad. Super lucky to work for him. I did give him a hard time a lot. But that's my nature. If I like someone, I'm going to bust him up a little bit. He took it well. So very lucky to have met him and worked for him all those years.
He drank a lot of beers after working with you. He'd come home and drink a lot of beers and be like, God, Joe's giving me stuff about this. And all he comes into my office, toward his little towel.
Yeah. Apologize, Mike. Apologize. But I like busting you up.
I remember you walking out. I'll never forget where we were at. It was right before I broke cracked my driver in hole 8 or 9 at Alta Mesa.
9 T-box.
Yeah, we were walking down 8 fairway a hole before, and you're walking past to my drive, and we were talking about life because we don't talk about golf and the golf course until 30 seconds before I hit my shot. You're like, the key I found, I'm a lot happier when I want less stuff, and I remember that for some reason those words sunk in, basically branded in me, where I was like, oh man, like it got me thinking about kind of perspective and perception, and be like, oh, you can have the want is to have all this money, but strip life down. What do you really want? And when you break it down into those parts, that's what kind of got me thinking of like, yeah, like I don't need this or that, this or that, and whatever. So I've always enjoyed that aspect about you and Caddy for me. And we talk about everything under the sun.
It was the best. But also to back up to a quote I heard one time was someone asking kids, young kids, first, second grade, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? And this one hit me later in life. They're always like astronaut, lawyer, engineer. And they ask this other kid, they're like, what do you want to be? And he's like, I just want to be happy. Money. That's it, man. That's
Kid's
it.
going somewhere.
So if you are wanting to make a bunch of money, what do you have to do to make the money? I had to do engineering. I hated it. Well, at the time, meeting minutes and all that stuff. What I'm doing now is easing in. It's not bad. It's me finding stuff. I'm good at that.
Oh, sorry.
I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, we're ready.
I was at one point. Just that quote you said, the happy. I've answered that for probably the last 15 years, and I didn't know where I heard it. And so that just kind of connected the circle for me when you said that. I was like, oh, it must have been lifting with you and my dad, early in the morning. But I've used that answer on interviews. Like, they're like, what do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? I'm like, I just want to be happy. And they're always like, oh, wow, I've never heard that one. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know. It's like, don't know if I want to be here or, where I want to be, but at the end, that goal is to be happy. How long do you see yourself? It kind of seems like you're sipping on the poison, going back to this engineering job. How long do you want to sip on that poison until you've had your fix?
That's a tough one. Well, here's an answer you'll like, Cannon, is I know my 401k match, I have to work there 2.5 years.
To get it to vest?
To get their cut. So that's number one answer. But if I don't like it, I'm just going to quit, man. I'm just going to quit.
They have no power over you.
They have no power. It's a really good fit, and it's really nice. I'm in a field office. It's super chill. The downtown office is extremely nice, which makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. I like being kicked off to the side. I'm just helping them with this project, and I'm just reviewing stuff. So it's a good fit for me. It's not me having to put up with all the old stuff before. Now, there's times it's boring and stuff, but I miss my shifts at the golf course were 6-7 hours, no traffic, and hanging out with 25-year-olds and having fun. I miss that. That was fun, but I don't miss the pay. The pay was not that good.
It wasn't that bad.
Well, so
what is the difference?
It's just not as good as engineering. It's doubled the last couple of years. But
yeah.
Silverado, man, I would quit so fast to go work at Silverado right now.
It was a good gig, yes.
But it's interesting how you turned. I don't want to say turned a new leaf, but maybe turned an old leaf back over. But kind of looking to the future, and you just talk about the 401k stuff. But what kind of goals, at your age, do you have? Like, what kind of goals are you looking at? I mean, other than money, is it really just money, or do you have? Now again, I don't want to sound offending, but
please,
are there still a few things on your bucket list? You're like, I should really, get to that, because I urge my dad all the time. I go, hey, if you want to go to Ireland or Scotland or Bandon Dunes where you've got to walk, dude, you better go now, because when you keep pushing that stuff off, I'm not putting KT tape on you the night before and massaging you and putting all these oils on you to get you ready to go to the golf course and go walk 36 holes a day.
This is great. This is a good question.
It's close. I'm getting close to my dad where I'm like, hey, I can't.
How old's your dad?
He's gonna be 57 this year.
Oh,
He's 56.
Jesus, old man,
Yeah.
old. No, I just turned 53. To answer your first question, like I say with Cannon, I just want to be happy. That's where I'm at. But I also took all that into consideration, taking this new job, because I do want to go to Scotland and golf. I do want to do this while I'm somewhat decent, skanking it around the golf course. But this job is going to enable me to do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to have the money.
There's a means to an end there.
It's a matter of, let me knock this stuff out. I've got money saved, and I know I've talked to your dad about it and stuff. I really miss the workouts. Those were instrumental in my life. Hour a day, every day of this, just nonstop, and it was something different every day. It wasn't the workout; it was getting together and just having a phenomenal brain workout. More learn. I learned so much from him. I credit him, but it's still like I'm uneasy of retirement. How much do I need? Oh, you got plenty. You got plenty. Well, I don't know what the dollar's going to do, and I don't know what silver's going to do, and I don't know what my house is going to do, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't spend money. It's the thing. So even if I have all that money, I'm not going to spend it. It's like my parents are the same way. I'm like, spend all your money before something happens. I don't want your money. They're not going to spend it. What do you do with it? How do I know how long I'm going to live? Do I need 50 grand a year to live? Yeah, that's fine. Well, am I going to stress myself out? I'm an overthinker, stressor. Shit, what happens when I turn 85 and I've got 100 grand left? What am I going to do? I don't. So it's really confusing time for me that I'm not super worried about, but it does consume some time of like, what do I need? I don't know what I need. I don't know. Yeah. I don't spend money now. So as a test doing the golf course thing to really see what I needed. And it was a good test. Man, I can get by on not much.
In your test.
It was a good test. So, but still everything's going up. What's going to go up? The same thing you guys are going to have to worry about. It's get it in there. Let that money start working for you. I've got it in there. So in 7 more years, is all my stuff going to be double Canon? Hopefully.
If you're in the right stuff,
it's been terrible. Terrible.
If you're in the right stuff, it should be.
Yeah, well said. So to back up, I'm going to do this engineering. I'm going to get the best out of it. I'm going to get my cars fixed up, take care of my woman's car, get it fixed up, fix up a bunch of stuff on my house that I've been kicking down the road. I got to do the golf thing. And even I talked to Cannon earlier. He's like, what's your 6-month goal of what you're wanting to do? I need to get the windows. It's just tough for me to spend the money. It's tough for me to fund last year's Roth.
Yeah.
I got it. Why is it tough? I've got the money. I'm not losing it. It's sitting in an account. I just don't like it leaving my bank account. It's a problem. It's a problem.
Do you play Monopoly?
I'm good at Monopoly.
Do you buy or you're like, I don't know if I want to give you this $200 because I don't know if I want that property.
That's funny.
I really like my money.
Younger. Yeah. Oh, I got troubles up here.
But so
answer Abe's question. I'm actually curious. Do you just sit on the money, or are you buying the properties?
Oh, I always bought the properties.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of properties because I wanted to screw people. I don't know.
He's very fair on less Monopoly.
Sounds
very fair-minded.
Like a lot of your energy is going towards thinking about money in the future, right? When are you going to do Scotland? I guess is when do you bite that bullet of paying for it? And I'm assuming of how much you're thinking about money and how much you love golf, you've got to be thinking about Scotland in this trip. You've been to Scotland before, haven't you?
Well, here's the problem too: is in 2001. Oh, this is a really good story for us. 2001, I was going over to visit my uncle who was working in London. I had it set up, take a train up to Scotland, go to St. Andrews. 9 days before I left, I went wakeboarding with his dad. Blew my knee out. Bad. Flew over with the air brace on, all this. Go to St. Andrews on the train. Knee immobilizer, crutches. Get to St. Andrews. It's in March. Terrible weather. They have to hit the ball off like a little mat. But I go to the starter, and I was like, hey, man, what's up? I go, do you guys have any tee times open or whatever? And he's like, oh, it's wide open today. And I was like, not what I want to hear. It's like, how much is it? And he's like, 40 pounds at the time, not the euro. I was like, $60 I could be playing here, but I can't walk. Last time I was there. So I need to go back, and I'd like to go with some boys and do it up. And I will do it.
What's your dream?
Within 2 years.
What's your
I like
dream? That. You love that. What's your dream foursome? And what courses are you playing? I'm going to give you a dream foursome and a dream three courses. Can be anywhere in the British Isles. I'm not going to limit it to just Scotland. Who are you bringing and where are you playing?
It's an easy, unsexy question for me. It'd be my time growing up in Indiana, my terrible little course that was $600 a year for family memberships, it'd be my parents and my sister at that course.
That wasn't the question. Who are you?
That's
bringing?
my dream. That's my dream. If I could go back in history and have a foursome, it'd be that.
Okay.
Growing up.
Okay.
But if you want celebrities,
you just said you're bringing a buddy trip to Scotland.
Yeah. But you asked my dream of if I could recreate or have that.
You're dreaming 2 years in Scotland.
It's very wholesome.
Oh, that's a good one.
Assuming you're talking about golf.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarification.
You talking a certain threesome? Or
Doing the 2-man. I'm sorry.
What was the pink thing on the whales cannon you saw on your cruise? I was curious. I
don't
waiting
know.
to ask you.
I have no idea.
We're getting
figure it out.
All right, let's back up.
We might have to cut that part out.
Yeah.
It just sounded a little odd when you guys are, what's your dream foursome? My sister, my parents.
All right,
That's
time
hold
out.
up, man. Come on.
Hold
This is
up.
non-golfer speaking.
You've lived in Arizona for 30 years.
Calm down.
Get out of the
You know what?
Midwest.
That's a good question. Probably just some of my boys, whoever could swing it to go.
Okay.
Over there.
And not the answer I was looking for. I was really wanting you to
What?
pick names and pick enemies. I know I wasn't expecting me, but I mean, I'll go if I get an invite. I'll for sure go.
It's only taken me 30 years to
Yeah.
figure out I need to do it soon. So
Well, that's why I thought you'd figured out by now who you're taking.
yeah.
My dad has no interest to go over there. He goes, I'd rather just go to Bandon. And I was like, you're insane.
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
But I'm at the age I need to start doing that stuff while I can still.
Well, so
kick
it sounds like you do have a few goals. I do want to get your opinion on my goal. I've got a goal going on right now for 2026. I got to make 100 birdies. Now, most people, especially people like Cannon, do that super easy. You're really good at golf. I played 5 rounds of golf last year, and I'm not making. It's mathematically impossible to make 20 birdies in a round of golf. So it forces me to play golf, and it forces me to play good golf. Do you think that's going to be hard for me or not?
You need to play Silverado a lot.
Correct.
That course you can rip. I think you need to get a side hustle at a job to work 1 or 2 days so you can go out and get the free golf. Golf's expensive, man.
I know.
It's a nightmare. How many times have you played so far and how many birdies do you have?
Yeah. I'll let you know I've played twice. And how many
4.
birdies do you think I've had?
4.
Both at Silverado.
5.
Total?
Yeah.
You're completely wrong. I have 9.
Ooh.
Yeah.
91% there.
I'm 9. No, yeah. No, I'm 9%.
Well, reverse.
I got 91% to
Nine-
go.
Yeah.
Engineer over here.
I said I was bad with math.
But I'm behind I'm already behind my quota for January and February. But I'm playing one more round in February, so hopefully I can. I've just got to get by until summertime where it stays lighter out later, golf's cheaper, and then maybe I'm up in Coeur d'Alene. I can rip a lot of holes in the nights. But now I want to get your take. So I don't think I've told you. Obviously, you listen, but you got to do 100 birdies by the end of the year.
I think it's easy for you.
Uh-huh.
Optimistic. No, I think it
Yeah.
is. Get me on the bag. We'll go out. You'll have a caddy for a casual round, and I'll be like, let's line it up.
I made 5 birdies and shot 2 under the other day because if I don't make it, I'm probably 3 putting. But anyway, so I wanted to get his take on that.
It sounds easy. I don't know why you're stressing about it, Abe. Joe says it sounds easy. Literally, you're the only one that thinks that sounds hard. You should probably go for 1,000.
There's guys that run
It's
golf
numbers.
podcasts that can't do it. It's numbers. It's a numbers game. Anyway,
This is a golf podcast now.
Yeah, we are too.
just
You got
had a
something for
brand
me?
Yeah. Do you read often or ever?
You'll like it. I enjoy reading, and as listening to you guys, I get roped into the stupid phone, and I waste so much time because I got all these 20-year-old kids send me stupid stuff on Instagram, and they go down that hole, the rabbit hole of just terrible. I really enjoy reading. I have listened to a few audiobooks, but my current book is, what was the name of it? It's all about positive thinking.
Okay.
Norman something, very famous.
Yeah.
And I was a very negative person growing up. Negative. The only luck I have is bad luck. Terrible. Everything's against me. And sometime in my 40s, it started to change. I don't know why, but there is an effect of positive thinking. It's whatever witchcraft that is. I'll read this book. I'll let you guys know. And I bought it based on probably a bad reason to buy it. Is some lady in the 40s or 50s won all these essays, contests for free stuff, but she applied this guy's thoughts. I was like, no way she did this. And won a house, won a boat motor for her husband. But I think there is something to it.
Yeah.
I was too negative. I was too negative for way too long in my life. And it goes back to I hate engineering. This sucks. This is terrible. I got to sit in traffic. It's a struggle to get over. Hopefully I am. So I'm reading that book now.
But also on the other end, you're so positive towards golf and towards your day-to-day job of that. And so it was almost like you needed a balancer, or at least maybe you weren't in the day-to-day, as Abe kind of shakes his head. But in reflection, it seems like you were very positive and happy about that. I mentioned reading books because I wanted to run a book past you if you haven't read it. It's called Die with Zero.
Your dad's talked about this. He texts me this all the time. But I'd be too stressful. What if I don't die? Now I got zero.
Just try reading the book. Give it a chance. I know it's a 3-word title that seems very backwards and honestly very different from everything you and my dad think about, or how I was raised. But I thought it gave me a very good perspective of money and how to apply it. And there's a lot of things said about, your early retirement years are really when you should be spending the most of your money, because you are retired, you have money saved up, but you're still able to go out and go, play 36 rounds of golf, or you're able to travel and get out. And as you get to that, that 85-year-old self, you just don't have the ability in life to spend money as you would as a 55-year-old. Or so I thought it wired my way of thinking, and thought it was a cool way. And it was an engineer. I think he played baseball at Iowa or something. So also an engineer brain that wrote it, and it's all very articulate and down to a lot of different ideas. But I really enjoyed it, and I think the hardships that you feel that you're going through right now with kind of knowing what you want to do with your money and your life, I think that's a way to put your mind at ease, just reading that and thinking through what he has wrote.
Well, you did a way better job than your dad describing the book. He's just like, read it. So you're answering what I just talked about 10, 15 minutes ago. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So perfect. I'll read it. It is. Yeah. And you're right. And I've gone back and forth with your dad, and I don't talk to him enough as I should, but I could not talk to him for a few months. And we just pick up where we've always been. But we saw a comparison of retirement age and age of death. And the later you work, the earlier you die. The earlier you retire, the longer you live. Phenomenal. So hopefully that's the case for me. It's a crazy stat. Like, you retire at 64, you die at 65. But if you retire at 55, you live to 75 or 80. It's a weird, and I agree with it. Get out of that grind.
I haven't seen that one. So what stopped you guys from working out together? My dad is no longer has kids in the house. You don't have kids in the house. You're both working at what, 9 a.m. start now. I don't know what time you start, but what's stopping you guys from starting that trend back up?
What ended the trend was me leaving engineering, going to the golf gig, and having to be there at 4 a.m. or something, odd hours that we couldn't make it work. And then I moved and bought his house, the house I'm in, his old rental. So we're further apart, but my hours were always either I opened or I closed. It was just a tough thing. And I know your dad was upset about and I was like, I'm not super upset about not doing pull-ups and freezing my ass off in the morning, but it was a special, special time for me in my life. Phenomenal, unbelievable.
No plans to start it back up.
Yeah,
I mean, my dad still has a
No,
garage. There's a Mountain Bridge gym that you guys could go to.
Good point. Since I started engineering, I do start at there's room for it. So maybe I need to ease into it with your old man.
Don't act like moving to a new house. You guys still live 10 minutes away from each other. Especially at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It was so convenient. I didn't have to do nothing. His dad's the one that came to me, even when you guys moved to Mountain Bridge. It was just knock, knock, knock. Okay, he's here. All right, let's go. It was something else.
I will say, I had no idea of this. Not obviously, but you guys never talked about this at all. But I'm now kind of excited for some friends to get back in town. so can't do it with my job now because I have to be at work at 5:45 and at 4:45 because I work East Coast hours come daylight savings. But there's probably a new job in the future, and I'd like to do that.
You guys do similar stuff that we did, even like with your dad and brother. We're like, all right, we're doing 100 push-ups a day.
Yeah.
Text when you're done or whatever, and let's see who does it the longest. I was like, well, I can do it. And the only reason I won is because your dad broke his collarbone. Anderson quit early. But it's those things that, hey, boys, let's do it. And that's kind of was always my bond with your dad of let's just keep on it and let's keep doing it. And without him, I could have been really bad out of shape. But P90X whips you. It's every day for 14 years. That's a lot.
It's so good. I just know P90X for having like just those sweaty abs on the CD. Like
it got so bad that we knew the bloopers when the bloopers were coming, or when someone said something wrong, we were all like, "Here it comes, here it comes."
It was the worst. I hated it.
Do you still have that by chance?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think my dad still does them from time to time up in the living room. Yeah, I just remember you guys would quote the whole thing. Like I was coming in, I was probably a 12-year-old, like, oh, like a new workout, like, and they're already quoting like, "Ooh, nice push, Trisha." It's like, what is that? Can you imagine? Yeah, I think it really it started my workout. It started my, it was the first time I had worked out, and I think that kind of just seeing you guys do that every morning started me. Gave me a good example and definitely started me on the right path. So I thank you guys both for that. That was a special time, and waking up that early.
That's all your old man.
For sure. Waking up that early was not that fun, but looking back, it is now.
Thinking about how people communicate through movie quotes, and like that's kind of like a famous thing now. No, not Joe and Kirk. Joe and Kirk communicate through P90X line quotes in there, and that's how they communicate for all the 14 years of their lives of, oh, push it. Yes.
It was your dad. He was monumental in it. I was just like, all right, I'll do it. But it was really good. I was in good shape. Yeah.
But man, I mean, I don't think, I could just, you've carried a lot of golf bags and you hunt a lot. And when I think of you, you're not as tall as Kirk or Ken or I, but like, when I do think of you, I do think of like, oh man, this guy could definitely carry an entire deer miles to get to his car after shooting it. Like I like that. I don't think of the P90X abs when I think of you.
No,
but I do think of like that dad strength of like, this guy will drag a deer out of a side of a mountain, no problem.
Well, for example, last week or a week or so ago, I caddied Waste Management, which was phenomenal experience. My player is something else mentally at the time, but every time I've caddied for a tour event, the bag's like 45 pounds. I even went through his bag. I'm like, why is it so heavy? There's got to be something in here. There's nothing in here. There's some balls, rangefinder, not even raincoats, not extra towels, not this and that. Still like 45 pounds. 15 pounds I lose every week I do it.
Yeah.
My belt's loose. 15 pounds. You're walking. We did it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, carrying that thing. I don't know how there's any fat caddies on tour. There are. I don't understand how. It's impossible.
I tell people I've never played tour golf. I'm just an avid golf junkie. But I tell the average people you would not last a week on tour because they just think it's playing. It's like, dude, you're riding in a cart anytime you play golf.
Yes.
You go play Riviera, you go play, Waste Management's pretty hilly. You go play, like the US Open was at Seattle up in Chambers Bay. It was super hilly. Like Jason Day passed out in
Augusta,
right? And then you play, so you go walk, Kevin Kisner says it's the best. He's like, I wake up, 6 o'clock, go hit balls for an hour and a half, go play. That round ends up being 5 hours. Hit it really crappy. You need to go, practice for another hour. Need to go stretch and, get your body right. And then do the next thing now times that by 7 if you make the cut. And then you fly on a plane and expect to do the same thing next week. Like, golf's hard. I mean, golf is physically taxing. It's not football. It's not high impact. But, man, you've got to be in good shape.
Now, walking 7 miles a day.
Yeah.
With just the golf.
Yeah. And so, but you're one of probably the only people that I know that could speak to this. I mean, caddying from being inside the ropes, finally on the waste management side. What was the craziest thing you saw behind the ropes that you can say?
All the players. So you had the same 2 other players Thursday, Friday. All of them were making comments about the attire, the crazy people out there. They're like, oh my God, look at this, look at that. My crazy event happened with 16 being the enclosed par 3, 4 levels now, insane. It does kick you off the idea of like, oh, I'm caddying, or you get lost in the, oh my God, this is insane. I'm here, I'm in it. I just wanted to do it one time. And on Friday, my guy was going to miss the cut. We started on the front, so 16, we just have 16, 17, 18, and went home. He's missing the cut by 6 or so. And he missed his shot left on 16. It went down by the grandstand. So he's getting a drop from the rules guy, and I'm just standing on the side with the bag, and I look up at the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron is zoomed in on me and only me. Looking at it, and I'm like, whoa, is that me? I knew it was me, but I was like, is that me? And I take the towel, and I whip it a little bit, and there's like a 2-second delay. There's the whip. And I'm like, why are they on me? My dude's over here dropped. Why is it just on me? And I'm sitting there thinking all that while he's over there. And then all of a sudden they pan over to him. And I was just like, what was that all about?
Thank God they banned caddy races.
I wouldn't have been good. I wouldn't have done it. I would have fallen for sure.
But
very special. It's cool. One thing I wanted to do, I'm kind of done. It's tough.
Did you see me right away on 15 on Thursday? I was curious to see.
I think I had troubles. I had troubles finding people because my sister came out from Indiana and she's with my wife. And you're trying to do a job. And I'm trying to help the guy out the best I can. And Abe knows my player. He is
fiery
on a different realm of trying to work for. It's
your words, not mine.
Nobody wants to try harder than me to help someone out. And not appreciative all the time. I don't know. So I was also trying to scan and find people that I knew. And I think I saw you and I was kind of shocked at one. I knew you were coming out.
Yeah.
And I knew you'd see David West and that stuff. So I kind of caught you. But
I didn't see
but
a lot later.
Yeah, but I wasn't on my game as far as scanning because I was trying to help as much as I could. You're in that thing and you see all these people. It's just something. And I've had other people yell at me that I knew that I didn't know were out there. And I'm like, Joe, what? Oh, hey, what's up, Mike? And stuff. It was very special. It was nuts seeing all the other players. The one thing that kind of shocked me was a bunch of new names that I didn't really recognize that came up from Korn Ferry or the DP. Both the caddies in my group were phenomenal to me. Gentlemen, awesome.
The guy with the stash. I'm not over the kid with the stash. How old was that kid? Do you know?
Oh, Johnny was his name.
Yeah.
Caddy.
Yeah.
Both his parents went to Purdue. He asked me a good question. He's like, yo, Joe. So I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble for talking to the caddies from my player. It's just like, I don't know I'm too social out there and I like to talk and maybe upset him or not. But so Johnny was a really nice guy caddying for Jeremy Chang and Jeffrey Chang. And he's like, hey, somehow he knew I went to Purdue or something. He's like, Joe, did you root for IU when they went to the national title? And I was like, Hell no, I didn't root for him. He's like, yeah, both my parents did, and my dad rooted for him. I was like, well, you need to give your dad heat because that's not a Purdue guy. You're not rooting for them. But he was younger. Both those guys were phenomenal to me. They really helped me out, and they knew I was probably not a privy veteran.
Well,
pro.
We'll continue that conversation off camera. I do want to get into. I know in the beginning we talked about advice. You know, we're 25. I know that you love what we're doing, but looking back, what's some advice that you'd give 25-year-olds now? Not necessarily when you were 25, but now, and then maybe specifically, you know, us individually. What advice would you give us?
The advice, and I'd like to continue through your guys' life if I could help out anyway with advice, warranted or not warranted, or good or bad. But like Cannon, what he's doing, I kind of like. He's got a job, it's paying the bills, but he's also reffing what he kind of likes. But you got to allocate your time well. You want to be with your person. You want to spend time with them. You don't want to be. It's allocating time is difficult as far as your job or hobbies, or am I going to golf Saturday, Sunday this weekend? Do what's fair and what makes you happy, I guess, is kind of where I'm going. Don't stress like me about money, but you guys are going to have jobs you hate. You're going to have jobs that you got to do it. It sucks. You're not going to find the dream job. Hopefully you do. Hopefully. Just understand that and be like, all right, I'm going to do this for a little bit, almost like what I'm doing now. Let's save some money. Let's do it early on because it's going to compound and get it in there. Shit, live with your parents a while. I know buying homes is different than when I was. I bought my first home for $113,000 or something, 2-story home in Gilbert. You guys can't do that. It's a bad situation for you. So just try your best, man. That's and 25 to 35 to 45. I thought I knew everything at 25. I was cocky, man. I knew it all. I didn't know it. So you're going to learn. You're going to learn just do your best. That's all I'd say is be happy and be like, man, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get my 100 birdies. I'm trying to, but enjoy it too, man. You don't know what's going on. It's find happiness. That's it. But save your money.
Find happiness with less money.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's good. You got anything, Ken?
No, I really like that advice. Anything, you know, if you were to go back and tell yourself at 25, what would that conversation be like?
Get out of engineering. Get out of engineering. I don't know. It's tough. I kind of don't have regrets because it got me to where I am today.
Yeah.
I'm pretty lucky. I was pretty good at it for some reason, even with bad math. But yeah, it would have been, I guess I would like to have gone back to my 18-year-old. But here's a good point too. I've talked to my sister a lot about is what if I didn't go to college in a small town in Indiana? I'd have been in that small town working at the golf course, and I would have been probably miserable. Going to Purdue was eye-opening, and what an experience to get me out of Indiana to Arizona. I wouldn't have done that. I'd have been stuck in a bad town now that's kind of run down in Indiana. So I was super fortunate to go to Purdue. Maybe pick a better major that I could have had more social time at school and not grinding about thermodynamics test and double E tests and stuff like that. It's what you do when you grow up. You're going to find some stuff that you're like, man, I wish I didn't do that, or I did do it. But I was very lucky to go to Purdue, very lucky to get out here. And man, I'm happy. I'm happy with my life. Finally, it's pretty good.
It's a real, and I didn't click to me just now, but you said earlier, like, oh, like I'll be an engineer because, you know, it's in my family, right? Now, think about how many times that happens. You said you're bad at math, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But you said you're bad at math and you chose engineer and you became a really good engineer. Imagine if you were bad at something, but you loved doing it.
Yes.
How much better you'd be at that thing than you are at engineering right now that you hate.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you
Absolutely.
love snowboarding, but you are the worst snowboarder on the planet. But you could learn anything. And if you did that and followed that, how much better you would be at snowboarding than engineering. It's something that you don't like and you're not good at.
Right. There was
Really
no
makes you think
real
about things.
drive. Yeah, it was tough. But then looking back, it's like I don't know what else I would have done. Like the golf venue.
Yeah.
Golf venue is rough. Your dad's got the worst job in golf. I've told him that from day one. But the amount of stress and stuff, he should be getting paid triple what he should be getting paid. So it wouldn't have been that. So I kind of got lucky doing the engineering. It enabled me to pay off houses, cars, these sets, save up money. So I look at it as kind of like a prison term for murder, man. I did my 20 years. I'm set. So I don't know. I was lucky also to have 10 years of screwing off with kids and meeting you and doing that stuff. It was fun. It was free golf, fun. Now I got to pay for golf.
I know.
No, that's awesome. Well, anything else, Abe?
What's your favorite moment on my bag? Or maybe favorite memory that you have of us?
I have a very favorite moment
I didn't know this. I
didn't
didn't know.
you disagree with, and Jeff Jones, rest in peace, wanted me to recreate it almost every time I saw him. It was at Southern Dunes. We're paired up with an individual that's now on tour who played at ASU. He will remain nameless because I'm calling him a cheater.
Played really good at Bahamas the other couple
So
weeks.
this guy played an amateur tournament a few days before, worn out, whatever.
A big amateur event. Like
Big amateur.
a huge honor to play in that event.
So he's geeked to play with him. I'm just like, all right, let me check out this boy. I know some decent players.
This guy played the U.S. Open in high school.
Let me
legit.
put some eyes on this guy, and I'll be the judge. So
Pessimistic.
your dad's out there walking, and we get to a hole that only the gallery can see from the far side. We're down in a bunker to elevated green.
Hole 12 at Southern Dunes.
Yes.
If
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I was there.
So Abe's in the bunker. This other individual's in the bunker. You're going first, right? Well, there's fountain grass that comes up, cannon. I'm trying to describe it. So this guy's ball is right by the fountain grass. So Abe's doing his business, getting ready, and I look over to this kid that's all American, all Mr. Badass. He's over there with his foot stepping down the grass, which is illegal, so he can get a swing on the ball. I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm like, what in the world? And then he's busy doing his business, but I'm watching it, and I was like, it's not on me to call anybody out, and I'm not going to do nothing. And I was like, this son of a bitch is cheating right here. He flips it out of there, no problem. And like a couple holes later, he WDs. But I remember asking you, I was like, dude, did you see that? Do you see that shit? What's going on? You're like, no, I didn't. I don't know.
Okay.
So this some bitch is cheating, man. That was my favorite. But also just more so, I was happy that you asked me to do all those times. I was super happy to do it. If I could help people is kind of my thing. If I could help and enjoy it, it's like being in an NFL huddle and Peyton Manning's like, yo, Joe, here's what we're going to do here. We're going to do this, this, and this. That's what I equate it to on the golf course, and even being able to do feedback or not. I really enjoyed, like you said before, our talks. It was always just good. And even when we'd go out and play just general golf with your dad, we're always on the same cart.
Yeah.
And he's like, you two need to shut up. Jesus, that's all you do is talk. And what are you going to hit here? What are we going to do here? What's on this shot here? I love it.
I'm not sure if you even like helped me like the golf aspect of it all. Like, because there's even sometimes we were like, I don't know. Really? You're gonna do that? Like,
I'm conservative.
yeah. Well, I remember laying up on a par 3.
Yep.
God, a lot of people can take my man card away from hearing this, but there's a difficult par 3 at Southern Dunes that they were playing for the backs. And I remember looking at Joe and I was like, I might just hit this thing short right of the screen and chip up and take my chances up and down. And I finished even par in the hole for the week.
To give you credit, he's saying lay up. He still hit a hybrid.
Yeah.
Layup. It was deep.
I wasn't aiming for the green, but I put 3 perfect shots in my hybrid. Like 3 paces off the green, short right with a perfect chip, perfect angle of the chip. Yeah.
250 par 3. Come on.
Yeah. And I finished even in the hole, and I guarantee you I was top 3 lowest in that hole. I don't think anyone birdied it, and they did probably bogey the next day. But I remember you being like, no way. And I think that's when Joe was like, oh, I see why Mike doesn't caddy for you because Mike is hit 3-wood, hit it on the
You
green.
can never have your dad caddy. You can never, anybody.
And I was just like, no, I'm thinking about it like this aspect. So if that makes me a good caddy or not, I don't know. But I remember that sticking out, telling you like, hey, I'm gonna lay up on this par 3, and then after one of the rounds, I don't know which one of the 9 or 12 rounds we played out there, but
that's one of my best stories if you're going to where I think you're going.
And so we get done. I'm 20, 19 maybe. We get to the clubhouse, and the deal with my dad and most golfers like, hey, we need to have a beer in the clubhouse. And so we get there, and we're dissecting the whole round, and we're going over shots. Great architecturally sound clubhouse. And these guys finished their first round of beers, and I'm drinking water and frustrated. Probably didn't play well. And then the waiter goes, "Oh, you guys want another round?" He goes, "Yeah." Comes back with 3 beers for Joe, myself, and my dad. And all 3 beers are sitting there on the table. And I look at the beer, I look at my dad, I look at Joe, I look at the beer, I look back at my dad. I go, "If you're not going to say anything, I'm drinking that." Like, I just played bad. I want a beer. You guys are having beer. Like, I'm drinking that unless you say otherwise. And my dad just goes, does an eye roll, goes, whatever. This is like his signature hand gesture. He goes, whatever. And so then Joe's like, all right, be a man. You're a man. That's awesome. Good guy. And so then
that was good.
We enjoyed 3 nice tall Coors Lights after a long round of golf.
He made you drive home.
And then I had to drive home. So those are a couple memories that stick out for Joe and I. And then obviously the cracked driver Alta Mesa, which was a real bummer for me because that was kind of one of my better
also
chances.
To thank you and your pops, or more so your pops Mike, about always taking me places when we worked together. He was super good taking me Alta Mesa, great course, DC Ranch, other places.
My dad's ass at DC Ranch.
Phenomenal time. It was good. Yeah.
Oh, if we had time, I'd love to. I tell that story another time. But man, I forgot about DC Ranch. I forgot you were there. But yeah. Oh man, such a pleasure having you on. I know we've been trying to play golf recently, but haven't. But life. But loved having you on. Rooting for Purdue. I know they had a tough game the other day, but rooting for Purdue and I just enjoyed this, and I enjoy your company as always.
Thank you, boys. Yeah, I appreciate it. If you ever want me back, I know I'm a talker, but yeah, good job what you guys are doing. It's smart. It's genius. Yeah, thank you both. I'm happy to have known you guys as long as I have your whole life. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's funny how I feel like both of us kind of organically created our own relationship with you. It was like oh, I know this guy Joe, and then it's like, yeah, I know Joe. Like he's literally my caddy, and it was like, oh, like it was just a weird overlap. Absolutely. Even though we have a big, I don't know, 30-year difference in us. Sorry, not 30. You just said, I guess it is 30, huh?
It's close. But you're right. It is.
It's just funny that we have that overlapping person that is like, oh, somehow we do have this older figure in our lives that has both shown up for us. So appreciate having you on, and super fun catching up with you and talking with you. So thanks for doing this.